increase in crime.
A drop in coronavirus cases means mask mandates are coming down across the metro. Doctors warn that people shouldn't get too comfortable.
We don't know what will come next. The science on this virus is continuing to evolve.
50s and 60s today, but cold and snow for tomorrow.
Governor Polis wants to make Colorado one of the 10 safest states in the country. We're currently somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Lawmakers have a package of bills designed to reduce crime that include funding to build strong communities and to recruit and retain police officers. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. And Denver 7's Megan Lopez is live with us in Denver to break it all down tonight. Megan?
Yeah, Shannon and Ann, rising crime rates are something we've certainly heard a lot about in recent months. Republicans are playing those numbers up and pointing the finger at Democrats for some of the policies that they've previously passed. Democrats, meanwhile, are playing those numbers down a little bit and saying that they have a strategy, a set of proposals that they want to put forward to actually address the root causes of crime.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today.
On a sunny Thursday, 3 weeks into the legislative session,
It's something that cannot be put off or ignored.
a show of force. The governor, Democratic lawmakers, district attorneys, sheriffs, and more speaking on the steps of the state capitol about their plan to address the rising crime rates with a series of bills to put more funding into policing.
This is a package that will improve public safety in the state of Colorado.
The bill will do things like provide grant funding for co-responder models or crime-preventing infrastructure upgrades, focus on recruitment and retention for officers, and more. But one thing they wanted to make clear:
we know that we can't go back to the tough on crime policies of the past that failed to keep our communities safe and only perpetuated violence in our communities.
Sheriff Jamie Fitzsimmons already runs a co-responder model in Summit County and says it's been successful, but it is expensive.
Even with our program, I'm always with hat in hand looking for money. We need to find some sort of sustainable funding for these programs. I truly believe it's the future of policing.
He was one of only a handful of law enforcement officers who joined the governor at that press conference, though. Major police associations skipped out on that event, instead sending a letter to their members that read in part, quote, "While some of the proposed legislative and funding changes may seem positive for law enforcement, our associations have questions and concerns about several proposals and the lack of attention paid to the consequences of recent policy decisions."
This is a campaign pitch. This is not a legislative priority.
Republicans say they also have big concerns with the proposals, in particular the amount of money being requested for these programs.
The Democratic legislature and the governor have requested $150 million this year for electric school buses. This entire package over 2 years is $113 million. That's not a priority.
But Democrats say these prevention efforts are an important step.
We are certainly open to the discussion of additional investments, but this is a strong start.
2 of the bills have already been introduced. 3 others will be introduced in the days to come.
Now, for their part, Republicans have also introduced their own set of crime bills. Some of them deal with smart policing or a grant program to create safe neighborhoods. One of them would limit PR bonds so that they're not issued for people who are repeat or violent offenders. So a lot of different ideas from both Democrats and Republicans on the table. Now it's up to the people in this building you see behind me to decide which ideas will move forward. I'm live. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, Megan, thank you for that. And state data show some areas of Colorado's violent crime rate have gone up in the past 5 years. This graph shows the state's murder rate. Now, there were 357 murders last year and close to 19,000 assaults, and that is up by more than 6,100 from 2017.
And not only is Colorado seeing a spike in crime, the state is seeing fentanyl overdoses, and some drug dealers are getting a pass. Denver 7's chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski takes a closer look at the fentanyl crisis.
There has been a lot of discussion about the impact fentanyl is having here in Colorado and around the country. Our investigation over the past several months dives into this issue. We will show you hidden camera video of what's happening on the streets of Denver. We'll also take you into data that shows the accountability that's happening in the courts. Large drug dealers caught, arrested, and essentially getting out of jail free. We hear from 2 perspectives, a dad and a veteran cop.
It's awful. This is broken. It's not just about me.
The judges keep letting them out, and no one's being held accountable for their crimes.
The data completely shows that they're not coming back. They're going to go somewhere else. It's criminal.
We arrest the same people over and over They sell fentanyl that kills people.
That is, to me, it's cold-blooded murder.
This is the one drug that has come on scene that truly terrifies me.
It's an issue that's impacting our cities and our state. We will take you into all of it tonight at 10 here on Denver 7. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
A beautiful day turns into a gorgeous night across the metro. Look at that picture. We've had lots and lots of sunshine. We saw temperatures in the 60s today.
Of course, things are about to change, and Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is joining us. And Mike, another round of snow is coming our way?
It's true. Look at this. I've kind of got an aura. Wow.
And he's like that even just walking around the station, by the way.
It's a little scary. This is the current view from City Park, and temperatures today have been really warm. We did reach 61 for the high. It's 56 right now, and across the Eastern Plains, temperatures 50s and 60s with 30s and 40s mountains and west. No precipitation currently. Those beautiful colors in our sky brought to us by high clouds coming in, but to the north of us, that cold front is marching southward. You can see the precipitation behind it. That's going to be here this time tomorrow, so big changes coming up in the next 24 hours. Cold front arrives early tomorrow. Snow develops by about midday or early afternoon, ending early Saturday. Let you know how many inches to expect and when temperatures bounce back. That'll be coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. Former Denver Broncos and CU Buffs football player Justin Bannon will spend 16 years in prison for shooting a woman in the shoulder. It happened at a Boulder business in 2019. Bannon was later found guilty of attempted first-degree murder. Now, Bannon initially told police he thought the Russian mafia was after him.
Loveland police arrested a man accused of sexual assault, and officers are concerned there could be more victims. 22-year-old Reed Charon is accused of sexually assaulting a woman in November. He was arrested in October 2020 for another sexual assault in Fort Collins. Anyone who has information about this case or potentially other assaults should please call Loveland police.
Jefferson County will lift its mask mandate on Saturday. Jefferson County schools, it was originally due to expire on the 18th. Now, Jeffco is far from alone. Plenty of districts now are ending requirements. Today, Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez asked experts if the data backs this decision.
Come February 25th, all schools and child care facilities across Denver public schools will no longer require masks. A decision the district took after Denver's Department of Health saw a rapid decrease in cases and a vaccination rate in Denver of nearly 80%.
I think the biggest thing that it means is that there's a better communication that can happen within the classroom. It's not just the words that may be a little bit muffled, but you can still understand them, but now you're also able to see some facial expressions.
While masks are no longer required, they're still recommended.
We are allowing the option and encouraging our visitors, our students, and our staff to wear a mask within the building. And so if you feel strongly about that, we encourage you to do that. I can tell you for myself, I will still do that.
DPS's decision aligns with other school districts across Colorado, but one that hasn't yet made a decision, the Boulder Valley School District.
I would like for them to ease up on the restrictions.
On Monday, during a Boulder County Public Health meeting, new guidance on masks could be on the way for both schools and all indoor public settings.
I think we're just over the Omicron hump, and I think it's potentially going to give us another huge setback. And working as an ICU nurse during this entire pandemic and seeing the death and devastation that it's caused, it just seems like a risky move.
But even with what seems like a sudden shift in mask requirements, state public health officials still want people to know that the situation could change, despite modeling predicting a decrease in cases and hospitalizations.
We don't know what will come next. The science on this virus is continuing to evolve. And so we do want to make sure that people know that while the next few months look very promising, it is possible that we will come back to you at another point and have to talk about what measures do we need to take.
Those measures could include the reintroduction of mask mandates, even additional vaccine doses. Options DPS also says it is keeping on the table.
If there is another spike and we see another variant that comes in and we need to put our masks back on for the safety of our students and our staff, that's exactly what we'll do.
Another pivotal moment in the pandemic, leaving many wondering when COVID-19 becomes endemic. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
The busiest border crossing on the continent is effectively shut down.
And that's bad news for the U.S. and Canada alike.
If there is no desire or willingness by these protesters to leave, then they need to be removed.
That's the spirit. We visit a Colorado bar thinking local in more ways than one.
It's a mecca of some of the best beer in the world.